Good morning. Today is Saturday, which is the last day that I can submit my results for running is not canceled half marathon. I tried to do this run the other day, but it didn't work out. So the beautiful thing about a virtual run is that you can submit it anytime before the deadline. Since today is the last day, today is the day that I'm gonna do it. I took 3 gels with me on this run, and I only ended up using my trusted Huma Chia Energy Gel. I always put on chapstick because my lips get super chapped when I'm running. Before any long run, active stretching is a must. There really is no rhyme or reason to the way that I'm stretching, but I always try to stretch out my hips and my legs because I have a lot of tension in those areas. Make sure that when you do these outdoor runs, you never forget your sunscreen. Usually when I run, I don't wear sunscreen because it's darker, but since it's the morning, I'm going to be putting sunscreen on my arms. I already have SPF on my face, so I'll be good to go, and I'm going to be wearing a visor. Although I had the luxury of getting the breeze off the mountains, it did get really hot really fast. I started this run around 7:30 a.m., which is the typical start time for many races, and around 8:15, 8:30, it got super hot. In my Run With Me video, link will be in the card above and in the description box below. I specifically tested that route for this half marathon, and it worked out really well. Since it was earlier in the morning, there weren't many people on the trail. However, as it got later in the day, I started to see more people run. As the quarantine restrictions are moving towards more relaxed standards, many people still respected social distancing on the trail. It was nice to see people on the path because it gave me more of the year and a half marathon mentality. It is so important to get into the headspace. I took my essentials with me and had my buddy carry a hydration belt along with the extra sunscreen and chapstick. For more running essentials, check out my running essentials video. Crossing the streets during timed runs can really impact running times, so I try as much as possible to stick to the block or cross streets that I know don't have a lot of traffic. Running in the shaded area was definitely a treat considering that the vineyard running path had little to no shade. I'm about 8.6 miles in. I'm taking a walk break just because it's getting really hot, and I'm not typically used to the heat. So we're gonna take a walk break. This is my second walk break in this 8.7 miles now. So it's okay to take a break if you need it. You just have to pick up and run again once you're done taking that break. I just finished my half marathon and I am so thankful that you guys came along for the ride. I wanted to go over some initial thoughts I had after the run. When I got home, I did about 20 minutes of yoga stretching just because I've had a lot of pain in my arches and my right knee. So I did a little bit of stretching just to get that out of the way before I cooled off and sat down with you guys. So if you guys have something to drink, grab a drink. I have a coconut. I love this a lot more than Powerade or Gatorade. So it's one of my favorite things to drink after a run. So grab something and we're going to have a chat. So this is my second half marathon that I have run. The first half marathon was an actual half marathon where there was an actual course, numbers, pacers, and whatnot. For this one, it was virtual due to the entire situation going on right now. So it was completely virtual, and the run was called Running Is Not Canceled. The nice thing about this run is that you can run it anytime. So I believe, if I recall correctly, I signed up to do this run, I think, in early April. And you had until the date that you signed up until May 23rd. So today is the last day to do your run. So I kind of trained for it-ish because I was leisurely running prior to that, but I trained for it a little harder. This time around, my training schedule wasn't as rigorous just because I had things going on at work and things going on at home. So I didn't train as much, but it was definitely something to note down for the next time I do a virtual run. So I woke up this morning at around 6:30. I didn't have any breakfast. Definitely eat breakfast. I didn't want to feel like my stomach was full during my run, so I typically don't eat prior to a run. But if you feel like you need to have something in your stomach when you run, you should definitely eat something that's not gonna feel bad if it comes up. So oatmeal, anything like that. I actually had carbs yesterday night, and then this morning I had a big glass of water. I believe I also maybe had a little bit of fruit this morning, and I headed out to my run. I typically don't run in the mornings just because I have to go to work. So this was definitely a first for me in a long time. This run here actually does mimic my actual half marathon that I did last year because it was around 7:30. So it did kind of get hot, but the run last year was in April and this one's towards the end of May, so it's a lot hotter. So this morning it was not super sunny. It was a little cloudy this morning, but then it got sunnier as the day progressed. And when I ended my run, it was around 81 degrees, which is a lot warmer than I'm used to. So I wish I would have ran later, but glad it's over with. So my results. So this morning, my goal was to 1, finish, and then 2, to beat my PR from last time. So I'm going to put my PR results on the screen here from my last marathon, my last half marathon. So you guys can check that out. This time around, my half marathon was not finished, so it is not a PR, but I did finish it before the cutoff time. So the cutoff time, I don't know what it is for this run, but the cutoff time from when I did the actual half marathon was 3 hours and 30 minutes. For this run here, I believe the time was 3 hours and 23 minutes. When I was training for this half marathon, the furthest distance I ran was about 9.5 miles. So I didn't actually ever achieve the full 13.1 in the training process. In my earlier half marathon, I actually did run 13.1 miles prior to the marathon and half marathon. And then when I ran the half marathon, then I was able to do it. So I was really tired this time around, and pretty much around the 11.5 mile mark, I began walking and I began speed walking. But the important thing is that, you know, I tried it. This is my first half marathon. I don't know if I would do it again. I know that I definitely do need to train more efficiently. And I also realize that I have a really, really high dependency on pacers. So if you've never ran any long distance run before, what pacers are, when you get in line at a half marathon or a 10K, a pacer basically has a time on their chest in place of their actual half marathon number. So they have a time on their chest, and then they typically hold a sign too. So typically people who are faster runners, They are towards the front of the start line because they're gonna, I guess, outrun people that are a little slower or less experienced. So when I ran that half marathon in April of last year, I ran with the second last pacer group, which was 2 hours and 35 minutes. So even though I didn't finish in 2 hours and 35 minutes, that pacer made sure that they finished in 2 hours and 35 minutes. So sometimes I would run faster than the pacer, sometimes I would run slower than the pacer, but that would kind of give me a mental check of, hey, if that 2:35 pacer is ahead of you, you need to pick up the pace. So this time around, because it was virtual, I didn't have a pacer. So I didn't realize how much I needed a pacer before doing this. Regardless of the fact that I didn't do a PR, I'm really happy that I did it and that I ran. It's been about a week since I ran the half marathon, and they sent me my package. So essentially with the virtual half marathon, after you do your timing, you send them your record of your time and whatnot. Then they'll send you your stuff in the mail. So this is my stuff. It came earlier this week, but I didn't have a chance to open it up. I wanted to open it up with you guys. So here we go. Right, so in this package there is the running number that you typically get when you run one of the races or run any race. So this year it's just, the numbers are 2020. Okay. And they included a cute little letter in here with the running is not canceled logo on there. It says, "We hope this package finds you well and brings a smile to your face. We also hope that you feel a connection with the other runners and walkers in our community that chose to be part of Running Is Not Canceled, even if it is on a virtual basis. In the meantime, stay well and active. The Fleet Feet team," which is a really cute letter. And they also sent out t-shirts. So this is the t-shirt that they sent. So it has the logo on there. I don't know if it's in the viewfinder, but this is the logo. And most of these t-shirts that I get from races, they become sleeping shirts. This is a cotton t-shirt, so it's not really the best to run in. And I think this is what we've all been waiting for. So this is the medal. And it's just a standard medal. It doesn't specify which race was run. Okay, so for this I did the 13.1 mile half marathon. And usually for races and stuff, they have the actual race that you ran on the medal, but for this one they don't have it, which is okay. It's fine. Okay, so it's just it's I guess your standard run-of-the-mill medal. And let me show you what I mean with they put the distance on the medal. I'm gonna go grab my other medal. So this one here is the very first half marathon I ever ran, and this was in last year, April 2019, and they have half marathon on here. If you ran, they also have a 5K and a 10K, and if you ran those, this part would say 5 or 10K. So this was a really rough half marathon for me because I was scared I couldn't do it, but I did finish it. So I'm really excited that I was able to do this, and the half marathon experience is definitely something that everyone should get at one point in their life because it's invigorating. But, you know, you do have to work for it, so it is very tiring. And that's all that I really wanted to share with you guys. Overall, when it comes to doing virtual half marathons, you have to really know your strengths and your weaknesses and your boundaries. So this was the first virtual run I ever did. I wish I would have maybe done a shorter virtual run for my first time, just because, I mean, I guess I wanted to see how I should have seen how it was before signing up for the big one. I found out that I really depend on the energy of other runners and the energy of the environment around me. Unfortunately, this half marathon was not a PR for me. The first one actually was, so this one was kind of rough. I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to share this with you guys, just so you guys can gauge whether, virtual run is something that you'd like to participate in. I know that a lot of the runs this year have been canceled due to the current pandemic. And for all the runs that I've seen online, because my goal was to do 2 half marathons this year, I know that for all of the runs that I've seen that they're advertising online, they're all virtual. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing another one towards the end of the year, but I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to do this one. So I hope that this experience, even if it doesn't inspire you to run a half marathon, it inspires you to get outdoors and run and be mindful of the safety precautions that you have to take when you are running in public. So I hope that you guys get out there, run. If you can't get out and run, maybe you can exercise in your home, but just keep moving. All right. So thanks for tuning in today. And yeah, get out there, guys.